Thank you for saying something. Am I super loud? If I'm really loud, let me turn me down a little bit. How's that? That's probably better, right? Sorry about that. Earlier in the week, I did some, I like recorded, there's a seminar I watched earlier in the week, like Tuesday or something. And so I muted my voice so you wouldn't have my voice on the recording that I was making to keep on my own computer, right? So in other words, I was attending a seminar. I was possibly illegally, although I asked permission, they said it was okay. But it wasn't an official recording. It was my recording. Anyway, I used my software, my streaming software, to record my desktop, what was playing on the video. And so I did that, but I didn't want my voice to come through or any background noise. So I muted my mic. So that's fine. I'll start it over. That's not that big. I didn't say all that much. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back in now. All right. So at this point, I think. Well, I have a thought. Let me try something. I don't know if this will work, but I might as well try it while I'm here. Okay, we have this. Yeah. Over here, we have this statue, right? Up here. I can see this, and then I can use this mold, which I did. I used putty, and I got the markings from the back of this statue. Okay, and the only one that I think, I'm not positive, but I think the only one that our protagonist recognizes is this spiral shape. Okay. So, but he does recognize that shape. He's talked about before. Also, he's talked about the eye, but of course, can't really. It's not here. It's past the door. Yeah. Of course, you can't really use the putty on this, right? Yeah. So, but he recognizes the eye symbol, and I believe he also recognizes that spiral symbol. So, now that I've got the putty with that, I'm hoping, I don't know if this will work, I'm hoping maybe I can go up to the attic again. Because we have that book of spells and symbols, right? Up in the attic. I'm hoping when we go back there, that while I'm reading that, maybe I'll be able. See, I think this is the symbol on this, right? So if I do this, I think this, let me zoom in. This mess here, oh, maybe not so much now. Yeah, no. When I was looking at the statue, and not the putty up close, I thought this might be one of the symbols on the statue as well. But no. Anyway. So if I go up to the attic, I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if this will work. Like I said, I have no idea, right? This is the thing. I play these games blind, so I really don't have a friggin' clue. I just try stuff out, right? But does the spiral show up in here at all or anything? So if I can't though. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. That's the problem we run into. If I right click on this, I can't access my so you have to access your inventory with right click, but I can't do that because if I right click while I have this, it closes the book. This, I think, I think we had that before. We gained one underlined word last time also. See, to make a talisman, put fennel seeds, frankincense, and quicksilver. I feel like at some point we're going to end up summoning the thing. And it's going to get us killed, and then that'll be the end of the game. It's like we die. Let's see. Because that's often how it goes with Lovecraftian style things, right? You're delving into stuff you shouldn't be, and it gets you killed. That's what happened with The Shore, right? Basically, we ended up... Well, in that one, the character, in fairness, in that one, the protagonist was manipulated by the abduction of his daughter. So, in that case, he was kind of forced into things. But my point is just that in looking into things that he shouldn't be looking into, even though he had a reason to do it, when he's looking into, like, the forbidden things, it almost always results in your death or somebody's death, somebody's destruction. So, yeah, see, I can't underline, I can only underline stuff over here. So, that distance. Well, nuts. I was hoping... Okay, so not there. I'm not comparing there. There's also this. What was this one again? The things written here are so strange. Why did these people look for a tomb? Where are the things to be summoned? Or what are the things to be summoned? And why is this text in here? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the note about Samuel Poor we have, right? Which is that one of the specific tombs in question, or that's involved with all this, belongs to Samuel William Poor. Like, he's the guy buried there, right? And then there are crypts below the tomb also. But we have a couple of different tomb clues, and when I combine them to think, I don't get anything. So I'm assuming that means that I have something more tomb-wise to get as a clue. Something found in a tomb, or another tomb that has not yet been described, or something along those lines, I would guess. And then we combine them, and then we have like 3 tomb things, and that makes the combined clue that moves us forward or something. But I'm not totally sure. Yeah, he got Pleiades from the book, but apparently from this, we don't match it up, so that's fine. Okay, for a time searching for a particular book, yeah, I'm pretty sure I tried the Timobor, right? And that did not. Neither that nor Infinitus got notice of the protagonist. He saw it and said, nah, nothing really. Written in Latin in a very confusing manner, and was attributed to Marinus, who was an alchemist and demonologist who wrote the ancient and obscure book entitled Primitiva. The primitive book, basically, is what that means, or the primitive thing. It is, really, it's not primitive even, although that would be our modern equivalent. It's like the primordial, or like the before history, is the idea of Primivita. But yeah. He died in his laboratory in a fire, which broke out suddenly. His corpse was never found. Yeah. This, I'm not doing this for a thought thing, but just this right here. Yeah, I bet that was he summoned something and it destroyed him. It was really difficult to find the Timobor, because even mentioning its name was enough to draw the attention of those who really know what it is. Yeah, Timobor is the modern equivalent, the translation of, of Primitiva, which is the Latin translation of Infinitus. So Infinitus is the original arcane, what do you call it? Demon book, basically. So that's Infinitus. Primitiva is the Latin translation of that, and then Timobore is the more modern, I think probably like Italian or something, translation of the Latin. I don't think we get anything more from this, though. This is pretty much stuff we already have, either in clues that are underlined or else just... And he even says when we do the think, he even talks about it, right? So, crypts below the tomb, crypt of Samuel Poor. Gotta be some other crypt of some kind, right? Somewhere. I don't think there's anything else here, just the note. I know I looked at this last time or the time before. I'm pretty sure last time. But there's got to be something more in here, right? Than just its notes. Oh, yeah. Deformed. Yeah. Somebody became deformed. So I got this clue. But then when I look at the clue where Clark Fields talks about Ivar being like not looking really like himself anymore, it doesn't connect. He doesn't go, oh yeah, that's right, or whatever. So that's strange to me. So if I go, which one was it? The fourth? I think it's the fourth one. Yeah, the behavior and appearance of Ivar. Like, wouldn't that you go, oh, appearance, deformity, maybe there's a similarity, but I guess not. This is now Clark Fields hearing stuff. It's just this is the information on Ivar. When he previously came to visit me 3 nights before, he seemed normal. But I can see quite clearly he wasn't listening to me. Trembled. This is behavior stuff. And then I don't see any other references to deformity for him though. So maybe that's why. Because he appears different. He's paler and okay, but he's paler doesn't mean deformity, right? Really, right? So handshaking isn't appearance, really. I mean, it is technically, but you know, it's more like his behavior, psychology at the time. Okay, his eyes were bloodshot, and he's sweating profusely. But again, that just means you're bothered by something. Doesn't mean you're actually deformed, right? So, yeah, okay. I guess not with that. So let me see if there's any... Hack a path through the dense underbrush, thick ivy, high grass. I mean, this is all jungle stuff. This probably isn't going to matter at all, right? Because we're not going to leave the area to go to some jungle, I don't think, right? I can't see that being a thing. If this were like Broken Sword or something, maybe. But I don't think with this game, I don't think that's the idea. This is strange, but I don't think this will amount to anything. I also think I've selected it before. Yeah, excuse me. Hiccups, what the heck? I'm looking at stuff like talks about how his hands are all worn and peeling and stuff from writing so much, and that the humidity of the jungle might destroy his papers. He doesn't know how far away from the last village he was. He and his guide have been traveling for a while. The guide has to rest and stuff, but the guide mainly is the one doing all the hacking through the brush and stuff. So nothing really that'll be a clue in all this, I don't think. No human being set before. I don't think that's going to be something that will click with a clue we've already got. Thought crossed my mind. This number of discussing this episode. Town 147 miles away from the village. So they're going to the cannibals. Wouldn't be wise, but quietly whisper words to the town people roused in me a feeling of curiosity. It's impossible to ignore. So most of the tribes have an animistic religion. This one has a monotheistic one. The dark god that they worship, right? That's, the people who I spoke with told me that tourists, scientists, and other travelers are frequently attacked when entering the region. Heard some discussing rumors about missing people, and it was fair on the banquet table. So this is all stuff he's heard about the cannibal village, and that they have a monotheistic religion, okay, versus the other religions in the area. And then that they're, 6 days from the last village where they were staying. 147 miles is the total distance they needed to get to from the last village to get to the cannibals. And then he's writing the papers. None of this stuff. This is all interesting. I like this stuff. I mean, it's very cool, like, background. I don't think any of this is going to be clues, though. We get this again. He ends up with the natives, with the cannibals. Okay, let's see if there's something in here that I've missed. The actual experience with the cannibals. First set eyes on the village, the thing that caught my attention was the strange architectural style of it. Nothing like a primeval village. I stayed on a hill to the south of the village, observing it for a long time. The wide spiral-shaped hut. See, this is surprising that he doesn't... Spiral-shaped huts. He doesn't... And I right-click, and then I can't get back to this. So I can't do like a comparison thing there where he goes, hey, this plus this, or whatever. Like I can't do that. So I have to get from here and then underline it so that it becomes a note that I can then use for my clue set later. So spiral-shaped huts with walls made of dried mud in contrast to the green background were reminiscent of some crustaceous sea creature. I now know their design was derived from a far more splendid architecture. The colossal trilithon, which stands at the entrance to the village, is decorated with carved figures, what looks like writing. On closer examination, the size of this ancient trilithon was awe-inspiring. I immediately understood it came from somewhere else and had been transported here with great difficulty from some faraway place. I did this whole thing, although I think I've already done this before, but let's do this just to see if it does the comparison with the creature and then says, hey, now there's a clue. Yeah, he doesn't find much interesting these days. Okay. Spent 14 fear-filled days and nights in that cannibal village and witnessed many disgusting and vile things. We had great difficulty communicating, although some of the villagers understood a few words of my language. They treated me kindly and were quite hospitable from the start, as though they recognized me somehow. I was never able to figure out why. Even though I repeatedly told them my name, they addressed me by another similar name. I can't pronounce it, but the closest approximation is Il-Aouf, or I-Aouf, which I'm sure is nothing interesting, yeah. Okay. As the day, I'm pretty sure I tried underlining that previously as well. As the days passed, I noticed that they treated me with increasing respect. This did not change my feelings toward them. The diabolical dances started to be performed during the last days of my visit there, and I thought they were performed because of a great fear that was felt toward the jungle. These dances were accompanied by cacophonous hymns, and only terminated when all the participants smacked their palms crazily on the ground. And there was a group of people who said to me they were going to some ruins in the depths of the jungle. But I secretly watched them and noticed that after these silent, regular nocturnal visits, when they returned, sweating, there were fewer people present than the number who had set out. Anyways, I don't want to spend any more time writing about them. We'll be leaving here shortly. These may be my final entries. Don't think there's going to be anything in this, but let's do these last 3 lines here. Okay. And then... I mean, it's interesting. I don't think he knows enough to make any kind of connection, so... Okay, yeah, and then... He said, the pain that I feel is gradually getting worse. Even walking has started to take its toll. My body is becoming contorted and deformed. I already did this, but let's... When Losnolder was caught by the... Because I read this last time, I'm just getting it again. When Losnolder was caught by the police, he was hospitalized because of a disease. This explains his situation a bit better. It is deformed. Just holding this pen is difficult. This is nothing but a curse. For some time, I've been seeing spiral ruins and ornamental blocks with hieroglyphics and drawings on them. But of course, we don't find anything about that interesting. The serpentine branches of grotesque trees clutch at the sky, and silent wells are open to the dark depths of the earth, leading me to believe that I'm approaching my goal. Silent wells? Dark depths of the earth? Yeah, okay. I am searching for some nameless ruins in the middle of the jungle. Is this kind of going to tie into the crypts here, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Beside me, a skinnable. A skinnable is also like a shortcut for skinny cannibal, apparently. Beside me, my skinny cannibal guide keeps looking over his shoulder at me in fear, as if I too were one of the wild creatures of the jungle. Although we've traveled north up to this point, I can see from the moss on the bark of the trees we've changed direction and are heading east. I don't trust this cannibal with me. He watched passively while holding his machete in his hand as a crazy gorilla attacked me. I will not forget his hopeless expression when I won that bloody struggle. Yeah. See this here, though, this deformity, I'm guessing... Oh, that's going to stick around, isn't it, though, that underline? Get rid of that extra. Okay, it's gone. That deformity very possibly changed him in enough ways that he was much more muscular and so could handle the gorilla on his own. I think that's very possibly what happened there. So nothing more from that entry, though. See, this stuff is interesting. I don't know if we're supposed to get anything from the fish, though. I already went over these relatively, or in relative detail previously, but I suppose if I'm more thorough, I might find something, but I very well might not also, right? It's hard to know. See anything with those two? That's where I just was. So these, oh, here we go. Octopus. Or, yeah, I mean, I think it's an octopus, like a small one, obviously, but. Oh. I wonder if these are some of the creatures that they've seen, like when opening portals or some such. It's doing that again. Yeah, okay. Moving that way. And an arachnid, of course, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it looks more like a spider type of creature, but lobsters are arachnids, so, I mean, it could be a sea creature or something also, right? Can't go any farther this way, which is a little strange, but you know, whatever. Obviously, I assume the game has everything you need to solve it. So they wouldn't give you random stuff, and then there's also this telescope where we look and we say there's a cave, but then when I look at the underlined stuff about caves and whatever, he's like, nothing special. Like, dude, you noted a cave when you looked at the telescope. Now you find references to caves and it's not anything important? Really? Okay. And then there's also, so we go back this way. Okay, and there's also the room past the attic, right? So we keep going this way. There's this room up here. And we've looked through quite a bit of stuff here also. We opened this up, for example. I think I picked something up from here, but I can't remember now. Or if this was just a zoom in to our cool graphic type of thing. I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure, though, I zoomed in. Yeah, these. Right? We looked at these. We identified this is Ivar Bergen for sure. I don't know that we know any other names enough, at least, to make sense of. Trying to remember now some of the other names. I don't think so. We have what? An R. We have FV. So far, just R and FV. And then IB. Oh, John D. Let me write these down, but I'm pretty sure these are not going to translate into anything with what we know right now. Maybe later, but for now, I think this isn't going to end up as anything. So we have Mr. R. We have Mr. FV, or maybe even not Mr. I don't know for sure. Then here we have John D. There is a... Where was it? No, maybe not. I thought there was another name too. Okay, so John D. Like I said, I'm pretty sure these are not in that other reference that's in the attic. Third one. Shalif? That this may not even be a name, right? This might be a like a specific farewell in specific circles, like in this case, in this religion or cult or whatever this is, right? Bin Humar. Shalif bin Humar. Okay. I think I already went through trying to underline these, right? Yeah, I got some other stuff. Like, I got this as well. JD, that's John, of course. And there's also an EB, but it's the EB problem. EB is maybe somebody. I'll put it as somebody right now, but I don't know. The little building in the garden is under our control now. We've already started to examine it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so not right now. And this last one. DEG. Whoever that is. We don't even have anybody with the last name of G in previous letters, so... Okay, like I said, I don't think any of these tie. Let's just back out for now. I'm going to go run a comparison really fast, but I do not believe any of that. Where's the exit? Oh, here, this way, yeah, and then to the right. I don't believe any of those translate into... Oh, I have to go one more and go back. Okay, fine. Into something in the notes up here. Which is over this way. No, not this. What is it? Oh, it's on the table. That's right. This. Here. This would be Mr. C, Mr. Kerwin, and that does not show up in any of the acronyms that I copied. SWP. We don't have anything even close to that. So none of those. And then back over here is just that jungle trip, right? Nothing afterwards or no references to other people. Let me make sure. There is this. I'll copy this as well. Put this near the Shalif bin Humar. We'll do Ich a Uth. Probably not even the same language. This is probably a tribal language, and that Shalif bin Humar sounds more Arabic. Or, well, yeah, maybe old school Arabic. Like pre-advent of Muslim Arabic, maybe. Like Babylonian, not Babylonian, but some kind of that era or something. Yeah. Nope, so nothing in there. Trying to think. I already tried, and you cannot get in this drawer, right? Yeah, no, we cannot get in that drawer. Okay, let's go back up to the upper room again. So I did the comparison, and I do not believe we have any of those names that are in those missives tied to stuff here, except for Ivar Bergen. He is, but the other stuff is not. I already tried underlining these things, right? Let me, one more time, just in case. Besides Ivar. Yeah, I'll try to write out completely all the information regarding the strange disappearance. This should not be a 2 anyway. Regarding the strange disappearance of Mr. R, which I have learned directly from Mr. FV. I beseech you to send this mail to Mr. Kerwin too, because as you know, I have leave for Salil today. So there is this. Mr. Kerwin does show up in both. But we don't know enough, I guess, to make that stand out to us. About a month ago, Mr. R had written a letter to Mr. FV mentioning a police operation was being conducted in the area where he was living. How he felt uncomfortable because of the event. According to what Mr. R said, police heard some unusual things, and because of this, they started their investigation in the suburbs. Some people have been arrested, but the reason for these arrests has not been announced publicly. In the successive days, Mr. FV got in touch with one of our police friends and got some information regarding the strange operations. Their police connection said that the investigation was focused on 2 Gabonese sailors and what they had brought from some eastern Indian islands. See, that could be tied to the jungle, for sure. But we don't have enough yet to do a for sure tie, right? Okay, Mr. R tried to retrieve information about the sailors. They gave some objects from some eastern Indian islands where they often sailed with merchant ships to some unknown persons in the suburbs. In a tavern called Knight's Head, he learned from an independent source, from a drunk, that police seized one of the objects in the course of the investigation. I doubt it. That could open up the police station, but I don't think it will. Yeah, no. Okay. According to the drunk, they sold a very ancient parchment to someone named Legoise. And we don't have... Yeah, there's no, like, Mr. L or anything in the names mentioned. Which makes sense, because I believe this is... This group, the Mr. Mr. R, Mr. FV, all that, Ivar's group, right? I think this is their notes. So Legoise is someone else that had gotten the parchment. He's not part of their group, so it makes sense that he wouldn't be mentioned elsewhere. Wouldn't meaning would not. Sometimes some of my words don't come clearly through on the mic, so. And then they were paid generously, okay. They quit sailing and went back to their country, Gabon. That last object, the parchment, is very important and dangerous. Okay. Mr. R said all of this in his last letter to Mr. FV. But after a month, when Mr. FV noticed that no replies to his letters had been coming from Mr. R, he wanted to visit him personally. When he arrived at his house, there was no trace of Mr. R. This is all that Mr. FV told me. He's now residing in Mr. R's place and waiting for further orders. I've sent a letter to Mr. FV telling him to contact you, and I hope that he will visit you soon. Your servant, Z. Now, Z, this could be a lot of things. I'll say that that's yet another code name. So I'll put it down for now. Z-I-E. I don't think he's gonna, have anything to say about it. Okay. This was the first one. Try to write down completely, right? Yeah, okay, that's the first one. Second letter. My old friend, you may be worried because you haven't heard from me for some time. I can assure you you'll be surprised when you see the things that I have found. The package that I sent you Probably not, but in case we want to search for something lying around. That didn't ring a bell. Yeah, no, okay. I have added all of the copies of my discoveries together with the notes about what I've written. That's what's written down in the or up in the attic, right? Okay. It's very noticeable that they're very ancient, but still, I think that they were copied from an even more ancient source. The drawings on the fourth parchment seem particularly attractive and confusing. Because we don't have any parchments. Yeah, just in case that was like Clarkfield's notes or something. But yeah, we don't have any parchments. Not anything I would call a parchment anyway. They may seem meaningless at first, but when you inspect the notes that I have added, they'll be clearer. I think that the sign with an Ouroboros around it serves as a key or source for the others. Okay. And I still cannot understand the meaning of the diagram on which the familiar celestial bodies are shown in strange locations. If you could find any clues about these matters, please let me know. So the diagram on which the familiar celestial bodies are shown, strange locations. Oh, okay. Even if I wanted to talk about these things excessively, I have to stop here for now. I have to travel shortly, and I won't return for 1 month. Hence, you will not be hearing from me during that time. I think I'll be back at the latest on 28/11/2011, so November 28th. The time is getting closer, and thus these things will start to become more complex. This is someone's date of return to their residence. But who will return where? Time is getting closer, and thus these things will... P.S. I think that there is a connection between my discoveries and the book you've sent, but it would be best to leave this until our next conversation, since I've not been able to examine it sufficiently. John D. So this... Yeah, we don't know who John D is the problem, right? So we'll get this probably at some point once we know who John D is, but we don't know who John D is right now. Actually, you know what? Before we do this one, so if you could just help me remember that I'm on the third one, I think I'll remember, but just in case, let's look. The notes in the tray in Clarkfield's study are just notes that tie to his recordings. Yeah, so I think we have all the notes that are written about just things in general here. Looking for a John D. or somebody being at some house or something. But I don't believe this is all Ivar. Ivar, probably is how you'd actually say it. Scandinavian, so I believe the I sound for them would be an E sound. But anyway. Not there. Sacred meeting place in Northwood Forest. What was it? What did this say? What all do you say besides just knowing that it's a... What? But why did I underline if it's nothing interesting? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, he's got a secret meeting place is the important thing. Okay. Yes, I clearly recall this because as soon as he realized he'd made a mistake, tried to change the subject. After a short while, when he realized I had understood him, he told me that he was planning to invite me there quite soon. First, this is the cabin where we are, though, right? First, he had to speak with some people whose identities he intentionally avoided revealing. I mean, that's the acronyms, or not acronyms. Anyway, that's what we have here with the abbreviations, though, that we've been seeing, right? He spoke about this place a bit and emphasized in particular that it had been empty for a long time, but from an aesthetic point of view, had every comfort that people like us always seek. He told some tales about this place, which is far away from the closest habitation, and came about through a series of events that are mostly forgotten now. He told me that it always seemed to be a place of pure evil, without even taking into account a few rumors. It is not known who built it, or when it was constructed. In time, it became an object of fear, which also caused people to be afraid of the forest. He left after that, telling me he would soon invite me to this place where he and some of his special friends met. After he left, my mind was churning with strange thoughts. After so many gruesome things have been mentioned about it, it may sound strange to some people that I still wanted to see such a place where darkness and myths of dark medieval ages were imprinted. But things like that are only things that matter to someone like me. Yeah, we don't have... I'm trying to think. There's a name, not Mr. Kerwin, not the Mr. FV or Mr. R. There's a name that I'm trying to remember now. We saw somewhere. I can't remember what the name is though. But I'm pretty sure there's a name we saw somewhere. A different name. Where was I? If I remembered where I saw the name, I would also remember the name, probably, right? But oh, yeah, I know. I don't know if we'll have it here, though. I mean, I remember where it was. I still don't remember what he called me, though. But it's going to be here.
Lorraine.
Lorraine is the name. But L does not match any of those either. I'm going to add Lorraine to the list, though. Because if he called us Lorraine, I'm assuming that's not a real name. That's probably a code name or a secret name. So I want to keep that in mind as we look through notes and stuff as well. Okay, so this date for the past 2 weeks. Wait, is this the one we just read? No. Okay, yeah. This is when he goes out of town. So for the past 2 weeks, I was out of town because of my job. When I returned feeling tired, I learned that the restoration had not been completed due to the sounds. Some of the workers suggested it came from the cellar. Yeah, okay. This incident made me really angry, and I immediately obtained a strong flashlight in order to find out what those superstitious vagrants may have been afraid of. It's similar. I've noticed that's a pattern in these kinds of stories, right? Maybe it's to keep the ambiance or spirit of Lovecraft. I don't know if he's the first, because I think Poe might have done it before him in one of his stories. In what was it? I'm trying to remember which story. Is it I can't remember the name of it now, but the one where the people get sealed in the wall, I think, or the guy does, I guess, just one person. Anyway, I wonder if it's in that one or some other. There's one of Poe's stories, I'm pretty sure, where he talks about people like being vagrants and primitive and and uneducated, and, whatever. Basically talking about natives and how he thinks that they're like lower and not as good. And then you have Lovecraft does the same thing. I know for a fact Lovecraft does. I don't remember the name of, Edgar Allan Poe. Yes, correct, yes. That's the one I mean when I say Poe, and that you are correct. I do think, I think Lovecraft challenges Poe when you get to later Lovecraft works. Lovecraft started out with a lot of experimentation. Well, what if I do this? I wonder if I try this. How does this work? How effective is this? And he wrote a lot of things that are not as good. But when you get, some of them are actually still pretty decent. They're just not as good, right? But when you get to some of his later stuff, I do think that Lovecraft rivals Poe. That they're about on the same level, honestly. I've not read Poe's really early stuff, so I don't actually know. I should. I don't even know if it's included. I have. Right, I have this. I don't know if you can see the title, but it's the works of Poe. So I definitely could do a comparison. It's been a long time since I read Poe, and it's been a decent while since I've read Lovecraft. I would probably want to read them back to back, and maybe even toggle one story toggle authors. One story Poe, one story Lovecraft, one poem Poe, one story Lovecraft, whatever. And to get a feel of comparison of their styles. But if I remember right, Poe is superior in writing, but my works, I think, for Poe are like his polished, published works, right? Which are not going to be the same. You can get a lot of Lovecraft stuff that were published, but they weren't polished. He wasn't as developed in his skill for a lot of the stuff you read. So it's kind of not hit or miss, I would say, but you need to kind of ignore the quality of earlier stuff to get to the later stuff to get the feeling of how good or not it is in comparison to Poe is what I would say. Yep. Lovecraft, yeah. Anyway, my point in saying all of this really is that this is a pattern, and so they're keeping that spirit here, talking about like natives or like the lower working class, not as good of people, in the character's mind, right? Obviously, I'm working class, so I don't, I think working class people are just fine, but that was kind of the attitude of a lot of these kind of well-to-do types that get it. They have nothing really good to do with their time, nothing useful, or they don't at least spend their time on anything useful. So they get involved with stuff that ends up being like dark mysteries and stuff anyway. And so because it's those kind of snooty upper class types that do this type of stuff, they end up looking down on anybody that's not in their class, and very often that ends up being natives, right? If they are funding an expedition in Africa, like you look at that with the Amnesia games, right? I realize this is a big aside from the game. I'll get back to the game in a minute, sorry. But like if you look in Amnesia, for example, the Amnesia series, okay? The professor, right? Professor Herbert, Aloysius Herbert, he was a professor, but he also was funding, in part himself and in part through his university, the dig down in Algeria, right? When things went awry or amiss on the dig, he looked down on him, and because a lot of the people that they hired for the dig were native Algerians, he treated them in what could come across as more of a racist type of a way. But I don't think it was racist so much as just looking down on people in general. Like he was basically an elitist was the problem, right? Because he even looked down on Daniel, and Daniel was also white, right? But Daniel was from the dirty part of London, right? Daniel was from the scummy streets. And so because of that, Herbert looked down on Daniel as well. So I don't think it's a race thing so much, in that case at least, as it is a class thing. You're just a lower class, so you're peons, you're kind of the scum on the water. I don't want to touch you. Kind of an attitude, right? And so I think that's in a lot of these cases, that's how it is. So a lot of people say that Lovecraft was racist. I actually don't think he was racist. Well, I mean, hang on. Let me slightly correct. Let's slightly adjust that. I do think there was some racism, because there was racism among a large number of Americans at the time. We're talking 1920s. 1920s America had like something like over 1 million people membership in the Klan. Okay, so I'm just putting it out there that there were a lot of friggin' racist people. There's a lot of racism in general. Even if you weren't involved with that organization, there's a lot of racism in general. So I'm not going to pretend that that didn't exist. But when the characters in his stories are talking down to people, I think in a lot of cases, there might be some racism involved, but I think in a lot of cases, it's more the character being an elitist, and possibly Lovecraft too. I don't know how elite Lovecraft was. I haven't actually looked into his biography all that much. But I think it's more of an elitist looking down on the lower classes. And a lot of times, because when you go to like South America or Africa or something, you hire people to do work, they're going to, the people you hire are the lower classes, but they're going to be locals. So they're going to be not white, right? And so it could very easily come across as racist, where while maybe there's a degree of that, it's probably more elitist, right? And so you're the scummy class. Get away from me. I use you only because you do the work that I don't want to get my hands dirty with, type of thing, right? So anyway, so we're getting some of that here is kind of my point in all of that. We're getting some of this, like he says, those superstitious vagrants, right? Now, in this case, because I think this is in England, right? Or sorry. This is either in England or in New England. I think this is New England, right? I think is what we established. Because he says stuff like flashlight. That's not British term, right? That's an American term. So I think this is like New England. Anyway, so when he talks about workers or like superstitious vagrants, I mean, there could have been, but more likely because America is a melting pot, but predominantly still by percentage, especially at this time. Well, 2011. Anyway, by percentage, it's more white people, right? So this is going to be probably white workers as well. There might be some, black people and some Hispanics as well, but probably mostly white workers too. But again, they're the scummy class. They still are welcome. So because of that, when he says like superstitious vagrants, he's saying the gross, scummy people I had doing the work for me that I didn't want to do, right? So there's more of that. It's a common theme. The elitists tend to have all this time on their hands because they don't need to work to make money. Because of that, they find other things to occupy their times. So a lot of times they get involved in this dark stuff that brings about the end of the world. So it's great. Anyway, huge tangent. Sorry about that. Okay, my purpose was by using the old rusty ladder to go down and just take a look down there. Didn't matter how many steps down I took. I don't really want to be going through all of this, right? I'm looking for names and stuff, really, is mainly what I'm looking for. I don't know why I started reading it. I don't really need to do all that. I've already been through this like 5 times or something at least. I don't think there are any names in this one. Let me make sure. We already used this clue earlier. That's fine. There's Ivar again. But again, I don't think... we see his name again and again. It's not like, we suddenly revealed that it's Ivar. Right? So... Still don't know what's up with this last page. It's so strange that there's this final page of notes. I wonder... This is page 2, right? Yeah, I mean, this is, for example, one of the cases where I think it would be interesting to do something with this, like put it in front of a candle, or dip it, or like not dip it, but dip the paintbrush in something and then run it like some, I don't even know, not ink, but some liquid substance, and then run that across this page, and then the chemical might interact, and it might reveal letters or something, because this is a huge white page. Not especially helpful, I mean, I have no idea what would be the point of this, right? I mean, I don't. I don't think we're going to get anything off it, at least as it is. So there's no name there. Already went through this. Why did we underline fawns? Half man, half goat creatures from Roman mythology. Okay. Thanks for the mythology lesson. Okay, suddenly I saw or thought I saw recesses. Open up underground clefts or caves. Meeting places for witches. Okay, you got that again, but nothing new. Okay. Caused my uneasiness to grow. Maybe the matter that caused me so greatly affected was there a 200-year-old incident that caused a drunk man named Annabelle Glauco. We don't have anybody with a last name with G in those, right? We have D-G, D-E, so capital D, lowercase e, capital G, but I don't think that's probably going to match anything. Anyway, so the incident caused that drunk to scream horribly while running to the town on uneven slope, blah, blah, blah. He had been bleeding profusely. His screams had caused everyone to wake up and gather around him. Read a newspaper article told by the drunk himself. He mentioned a group of people in worn clothes made of animal skins, living in a small cave hidden by the forest. Okay, after eating something, the strange group summoned something from beneath a dark well-like hole by pounding the palms of their hands onto the ground and playing a thing that the drunk described as a musical instrument was set up at the edge of that dark well-like hole. So this is, we can't match them, I don't think, right? But this is the same behavior that the guy in the jungle described. He said that that tribe of cannibals had done one of the ceremonies they did. They pounded their hands on the ground. And then, I don't know if he said they summoned something, but that they did that. But yeah, he's not drawing the connection. As a result of the thing that answered the group's call and come from below a well-like hole, the drunk had run screaming Asda Noit all the way to town. I know that according to the article, all the local people accused him of being in a drunken stupor, inventing it all, yeah. He'd investigated the story and discovered it was in accordance with some historical truths. I decided these are not matters that can be invented by a simple drunk like Annabelle Glauco. Maybe for that reason that night, I proceeded through the forest with a cautious feeling inside me. Now, I can't be sure, when I reached that sinister-looking place situated on a cliff just outside the forest, the time was 2 in the morning. It's not large, but it's old, dark, and waterlogged, and worm-eaten wooden planks made it seem disturbing, and, since I could not discern its features in the darkness of the moonless night, it seemed to me even more formidable. With this manifestation, I couldn't help thinking that Edwin Pickman was looking at it when he wrote these lines. This is, again, Edwin Pickman, whom we met outside Edwin Pickman was looking at it when he wrote these lines. But I guess Edwin Pickman doesn't catch our interest, which is, weird since he randomly was there. But okay. There it stands in our sunlight, a marker to show it's still there, as black as a night with no moonlight, and its doom is laid so bare. I mean, these are the people, I'm sure, that have the other abbreviations for their names, but I'm sure this means nothing to us because we don't have anything to connect them, right, to tie them together. As time passed, the conversation got deeper, and I felt as though their verbal and facial expressions were emitting a penetrating, dense, evil sensation and a disgusting pressure which made me feel nauseous. At first, I thought this feeling, which somehow I couldn't shake off even though I firmly tried, was caused by the height and age of the place. Now, I shiver with fear much more than even that night, when I remember looking into their corpse-like, dull eyes, and remember the fast movements of their exceedingly thin bodies, and their whispering in an unfamiliar language, while looking directly at my face. Okay, so he's not going to tie that to deformity either. Until morning, in that worm-eaten building, which is standing on that sinister cliff, we spoke about suspicious topics and unknown secrets, without caring about the freezing effect of the whistling wind that blew in from below or from between the rotten old planks. Maybe the thing that helped me not to care about the place, and most important of all, about those 3 cadavers, were the topics that enchanted me and benumbed me like alcohol. There were 3 bodies? Okay. These topics were beyond all ordinary human thinking and perception. They showed me some carved antique stone pieces and old books and told me about the hidden machine that only Franz Mesmer dared mention, and about the powerful alchemists and magicians whose names are unknown to ordinary people. And I mean, Franz Mesmer, this is 2011, so he's going to be going to have been long dead, right? Mesmer lived what, like 1930s or something? I don't know, somewhere in there. I couldn't help thinking that and why does he say Franz Mesmer? What was the thing with that? In here, Mr. Field had mentioned Dr. Franz Friedrich Anton Mesmer, an Austrian physician who was infamous for inducing hypnotic and trance-like state in human beings as a curative remedy. Okay. I mean, sure. Factoid, I guess. I mean, it does tie to the whole idea of, like, hypnosis and the dressage that we've talked about, that we've seen elsewhere, right? That whole, like, euphoric and inspired state that people get into a certain drug or whatever. But still, I mean, it's not exactly a tie, right? Give me one sec. Turn off my AC and my fan. That's was super warm earlier, and I was falling asleep without even like trying to read stuff and go through and learn stuff or like focus on things. And then, or so I turned my AC on because it was really warm and I was falling asleep anyway. But now it's kind of quite chilly, so let's not keep it going. My first AC use in the year, which is, you know, odd because it's still in March, but whatever. Okay. I couldn't help thinking that there were many more things that weren't shown to me. For a long time I thought I heard some strange noises that I could hardly separate from the roaring sound of the sea that accompanied the storm, which I didn't dare mention when I saw that the others were unaware of this. I can now say with certainty that this forest is not for sane people. It is a place where night creatures gather to worship Nyx by dancing, howling, jumping from tree to tree, and sacrificing in the underground passageways. And I don't want to go to that rotten place, which now belongs once more to the forest. Probably nothing more in this last paragraph, but let's do it anyway. Just in case. Okay, we do include Nyx. Nyx was the primordial goddess of the night in Greek mythology. We might be don't think there's anything more in this that I want. I already did this elsewhere. I don't think we'll get anything, but I'm going to do this anyway, just in case. Yeah. Because we already have that poem elsewhere anyway, so. I'll include this, although I'm sure the cave doesn't, but the people living, or people wearing animal skin clothing, probably not, but yeah, okay. Okay, we got one more thing from the third one. I already did this, and he doesn't find anything interesting about that. Strange incidents. Hearing unidentified screams. Coming from the depths of the well. At first, most of these sounds were not clear enough to be distinguishable. Blah, blah, blah. Could be rats. Aren't rats found in places like that? Later, I hear these sounds more clearly, leaving me no doubt that some of them are human voices. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've already done the whole hearing voices and having hallucinations and stuff, so I don't know that really we're going to get anything with that. Let's see. Gnawing sounds would go to his idea about rats as well. I think I've already done this. We have earthquake reference in the other as well, but I don't think it's enough. Yeah, see, he thought small earthquakes as well, or might have thought small earthquakes. No. Who knows what lies below the depths of the earth which shudder with uneasiness? Yeah, okay. Yeah, and over here we got a key. And then... I'm trying to see if there's any other stuff besides that key. I don't think so, right? Oh, there's this. That's right. Identical wooden sculptures. A hidden compartment in them, protected by some kind of locking mechanism. Oh, here we go. It says the person named Kerwin went to Africa and brought back some wooden sculptures. Yeah, the notes we had in the attic, I believe, are from Mr. Kerwin. Yep. It says the person named Kerwin went to Africa and brought back some wooden sculptures. Could he be Loth Nolder? He also went to Africa. Oh! Ah, we got a clue. Very nice. From that silly poem, we can ensure they were trying to summon Darkwing Duck. That's right. Darkwing Duck. I haven't seen a reference to that in ages. Well done, Solo. Well done. Apart from one that I opened easily, I don't know what these are meant to contain. Also seen firsthand why these sculptures in other places, one of the places that we discovered with the aid of the maps. These sculptures are extremely important. Okay. Inside the one I opened, I found various kinds of leaves, an eyeless dead insect, which I couldn't identify. Having no eyes made me think that it is a species of insect lives its entire life in dark and deep caves where no sunlight ever penetrates. Probably nothing. I think I've already tried this particular one before as well, yeah. Haven't figured out which plant or tree the leaves come from. Smell is strong and very interesting. Since the smell emanates from the other sculptures, I assume all of them contain the same items. Mr. Kerwin says the purpose of these sculptures is to contain the Diversa mixture. We did have this before, but I guess nothing new right now. All of my research concerning the Diversa mixture has not yielded satisfying results. This indicates that its preparation has been protected extremely well, or knowledge has been passed on through oral traditions. In even the most ancient and comprehensive writings, hardly any information can be found about it. According to these writings, the mixture has a very potent effect on people. It's known that the mixture can induce altered states of consciousness. I believe it has additional effects because Diversa is of critical importance to the soul metamorphosis doctrine. At the moment, I'm working on opening the locks of the sculptures without damaging them in any way. To do this, I need to understand the locking mechanisms. I believe I'll figure this out soon. Yep. This is another Ivar thing. Okay. A half full inkwell. Using the marker and the old maps is a great way to find the places, but the condition of maps is deteriorating rapidly. To avoid any further damage to them, the maps have been placed in a special cabinet for storage. We've discovered a lot of places by using them, and our research continues. The most important place we have found, the ancient cemetery that hides the tomb we've long sought after. The ruins that were found 350 to 400 meters from there lead me to believe this place was an ancient settlement. Perhaps the ruins were once a town that belonged to the folk Iather that lived in Northwood Mountain long ago. Mr. Kerwin will start researching this place within a few days. Let's do this whole paragraph. Okay. So that's that one. That's this paper. This book, apparently, we're not going to pick up. This was the one that had the final page, right? It was blank? Yeah. Let's... Probably not, but let me see if I can do something like that. No, this won't work. Okay. Oh, I wonder if I can... Old map. No, okay. What was this one again? It's a general map. Metallic sticks, yeah. I feel like those probably will be important, but I don't know what to use them for right now. Covered the brush with ink. Okay, now what if I do this? Brush with ink. And this? Doesn't make sense. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm trying to think what I'm going to... Oh, maybe I do... Well, maybe. I don't know. I've painted the putty with a brush. What am I going to use this on, though, is my question. I'm trying to think where we would put that, though. Still no. The blank area on that we may never do anything with. Actually, in fact, that might be true for both of them. Yeah. Nope. So not that. What is the other? That's the map. I don't want to ink up the map, probably, right? Metal sticks, probably also not at the moment. Okay, let me save our progress so far, and then I can reload if this turns out to be a bad idea. But I think... what I'm going to try to do... maybe we can go to Clark Field's place into that secret back room that we found. And maybe we can do something with the pattern that's on the ground. There? I don't know. If I go somewhere else, the paint putty will lose its shape. It'll be useless again. Okay. So I definitely want to use it here. Okay. Don't think there's anything in there I want to use it on. Ah, there's a blank page here. Duh. Murder. I knew that. I was like, there's a blank page somewhere. It was down here. I knew that. I totally knew that. What the frick? Sometimes my brain isn't always the best. Okay. So let's put this there. This should work. Now we go. There we go. Now I got a permanent thingamajigger. Paper I marked using the putty. Yeah. See, this is that eye symbol. I'm pretty sure this, now that this is marked like that, this almost looks like that eye symbol, right? So yeah, this is the spiral symbol that they talked about with the tribe in Africa, and with like the shape of their huts and stuff. And then that's also somewhere else. I'm trying to remember where that was. I'm trying to remember. All right, well, let's now leave anyway. But now I have the paper, so it won't matter. The putty will go away, right? Yes. Let's go back to his residence. See if there's anything we can... I thought I remembered blank. Something blank, but I forgot that the paper was there on that table. I was like, there's some blank, that's why I kept trying like stuff in my inventory already, right? Because there's a one page that had the top half blank. There was that full blank page on the back of the second set of notes. I was like, something somewhere around here has got to be useful, right? Turned out it was that, though, lying on the table. I'll be right back. I'll use the bathroom really fast. Okay. So now the question is... Yeah, let's first go to that kind of side room that was locked previously, but we've since unlocked. See if there's maybe something... One more. And then here. There was... Yeah, this circle on the floor. Well, I don't see the symbol out of anything here, though. Signs look like letters to me. If so, I've never seen such an alphabet. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think none of these individual papers, right? Yeah. Some kind of dust in this pot which resembles a big urn. I don't want to predict what is inside. What is this smoke? It's terrible. I can't stand it. Yeah, I don't think I have anything that would potentially go in the pot or something. So I think we'll leave this alone for now. Alchemical objects, ancient books. Wouldn't have expected to find such objects here. Okay. That's all of this is just that? It's looking like it. So we can't even read, like, yeah, any of the notes or anything. All these are just alchemical objects. Okay. So nothing there. Some kind of grinder, yeah. We will end up grinding something to make our kind of incense thing, whatever it is. And use it in materia. As far as I know, materia means material in Latin. Yeah. The question is, what is the material for? These Lecythus-like ceramics have metallic covers. Okay, so nothing really important here. I can never seem to remember, or not never, but I often seem to forget whether a particular paper is accessible for anything more than just the paper that's there or not, so. GT is also not one of the names on for the abbreviations. Again, I don't know. I mean, IB is Ivar Bergen, right? So I assume that the abbreviations are first letters of names, that type of thing, but no way to know for sure, right? Ghouls again, 3 weeks after a previous attempt at the city cemetery. Last night, a new digger was again stopped by the cemetery watchman, Gregor Thomas. Watchman Thomas thinks that this was the same man from the former incident. This time he was more cautious, trying to dig with the aid of a single candle in the dead of night. Had it not been for the barking of Gregor's dog, Buck, he would never have noticed his presence. Police have started an investigation. I don't know that we're going to get anything on any of this, but let me do it anyway just to make sure. I think I have already done it as well, but I don't know. This also is Mr. Asimov. This may very well not refer to Isaac Asimov at all, right? Just because they share the same last name or whatever doesn't mean that they... Write down Mr. Asimov. Don't have very much information regarding the history of this house. Most of the information I have comes from some letters I found in a secret compartment. I think I tried this, though, and nothing, right? Yeah. Okay. Believe that they were written by one of the previous owners. Strange thing about these letters is that they were never sent to anyone, just kept in a secret place. Maybe they were only meant to be delivered under certain circumstances. I think I tried this as well before. I want to relate something that I discovered with the help of these letters. If you look down at the garden from the upper story windows. Can we look out at the garden from there, though? Anyway, you can see that the low stone platforms and footpaths form a geometric pattern. This would be overlooked by the casual observer, and would only be apparent to someone possessing esoteric knowledge like ourselves. Okay. Low circular stone platforms are placed at each corner of the rectangular garden wall. Structures that connect these platforms to the house pass through the tall, neglected grass, looking like narrow stone footpaths when viewed at ground level. I was upset that it took me this much time to notice the shape, and only after I saw it did I realize the garden walls were thicker than normal and their height so colossal. Doesn't mention a spiral specifically. That's what I suspect, but it doesn't mention it, so maybe not. According to my research regarding the house, it was built in 1786 on the site of the strange pillared stone building that resembled Roman architecture. This strange building was not a welcome sight for the local people, and they claimed that it befouled the surroundings. According to some written accounts, this ancient building was demolished. The foundations of the house were completed in secrecy during the night. There's no indication of who built the house or who lived there at the time. In 1895, it was bought by a German immigrant. Maybe. I don't think so. But where is it? Yeah, I think it's this whole sentence. Maybe not the whole thing that would be useful, if anything. But part of this anyway. I think we won't get a clue though, right? Yeah. Okay. In the winter of 1896, he attempted to add new sections to the house and restore the older parts of it, but the attempted renovations were not completed because of the abrupt departure from the house. After this, the house remained empty for some time. That is all that I could learn about it. See, because again, like I said multiple times in this game, right? You have these things that are similar, but is the similar thing something that will trigger you found a clue? Often no, right? There are some rumors about this house. I want to mention some of them. According to one rumor, even though only one person lived in the house, some people claimed they heard talking and the footsteps of more than one person. Others claimed they saw fires burning, accompanied by the sound of disgusting hymns. This rumor is fairly widespread. Another rumor is about huge moths which have been seen outside the house during the summer solstice. There are other rumors about huge creatures resembling gigantic moths that abduct newborn babies from their houses. Folk tales have always interested me, and I would be lying if I said that I am not afraid of the possible truth of these rumors. But again, they were repeating stuff. People thought they heard more than one voice. They thought they saw fires burning. There were moths, this is all stuff. Well, moths is kind of newish, sort of, I guess, maybe, in a writing thing. But since there are things I cannot tell you in this letter, it would be much better for us to meet and talk face to face. I'm the subsequent owner of that German immigrant, after that German immigrant, and I intended to continue the restoration process which he left unfinished. I plan to complete the renovation process in a few months, keeping true to the original design of the house. You know only too well why these types of places were built and why they must stand strong and firm to withstand the vicissitudes of time. So we meet again, J.O. Now, we don't have a J.O. either out of the list of names. I'm going to add that as one. Although I don't think that that is anyone we know either, right? We know Lothnolder. That's not going to be him. We know Clark Field. That's not going to be him. We know Mr. Kerwin. Also no. We know Ivar Bergen. Also no. So, don't think this will turn up anything, right? Yeah. This whole thing is all the same, right? Oh, no. This is new. I thought this was the same paper, but I guess not. Last night in the oldest settlement of Northwood, a disgusting discovery was made in the backyard of a house at 15 Wind Street. By Officer E. Forge of the Wellsmouth Police Department. After the discovery, Officer Forge told the press He'd heard a dim but sharp cry and a noise coming from the backyard of the house that sounded like a man falling to the ground. When the officer approached the backyard, he noticed numerous strange mounds of earth. There was no one around, but some areas of the soil looked like they had been dug very recently. When Officer Forge dug up one of the mounds with his bare hands, he was totally shocked to find a lot of small mammal carcasses and a human corpse which had recently been exhumed from the hill burial ground. The house was believed to be empty. Let's see, so... Okay, so at least right now, not a place to visit. The house was believed to be empty, but preliminary investigations proved to the contrary. In some rooms, a number of medical instruments were found. Police closed off the area for further investigation. Let's do this one, and then there's one after this, I think, that I want to do. Further down on this page. Not that one, okay, and then... Yeah, here. In some rooms, a number of medical instruments were found. Also, okay. Interesting, but I guess no clues from this. Okay. And I think this is all of that. Read that. Yet another one of those. Okay. Hey, moths, you're not all around in random places everywhere or anything. Yeah, and this was a glass object, but we don't know anything more, I guess, right now. At least not enough to know anything about it except that it's some glass object, okay. Oh, it's focusing on that. Shows me here, but it's still focusing on the hitbox for that, so. Don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything more in there. Okay, let's see. Again with one of these. But again, I don't see spirals or that. What was another symbol? Something. But nothing from that paper. Okay. This. See, there's a spiral here, but I can't interact with it, so I don't know. And there's the eye symbol, but I really can't do anything with these, huh? It's fine. I mean, obviously, they'll have some other way of proceeding in the game, but I just had expected if I saw something like this, maybe I could interact a little bit with it at least, but I don't. I mean, it's cool seeing stuff like the spiral again, so you feel like you're probably on the right track, or you've gathered enough information, whatever it ends up being. But then it really won't help me much. Is like, got the drawing, we got this. There's nothing else in this table then? This is the drawing again, right? Yeah, it's gotta be, right? Yeah. It's still that one. So I can't. Oh, I think I think that's right. I back up and then I go one more on the table and then I can grab this from the other side. I think that's how that worked. That almost looks like a paper or something there, but I guess it's not. Again, this is that saurian kind of lizard person drawing, but not. It doesn't have any of the symbols of stuff that we'd want to look at, right? So this is an anatomy drawing, but again, this down here, this is still the drawing? Yeah. Okay. I don't know that we have anything else here. Is this that? Yeah, it's this saurian drawing. Here we go. Strange drawings and writings are unreadable. The eye again. Is that it now? Just that one drawing in that book, and then that's everything, I guess. Don't point out the mods again either. Okay. Well, if you hadn't noticed, I'm on my later legs. Gonna be falling asleep soon, so I should probably quit it for tonight. All right. Okay, so that'll be that for tonight. So tomorrow night will be more Resident Evil Village. We are in the machine area trying to run from various monstrosities, ranging from like, well, they might all be so, but from like various lichens to things with blades spinning to whatever else. So whatever those are. Anyway, so we'll do more of that tomorrow night. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, we'll see how much more of this I can figure out. It'd be nice if I could just make a bunch of progress in one time, but we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, peace. Street boy. Oh, that's so sad.